I'm good at ってどういう意味でしょう？それって簡単じゃん。何々が得？ちょっと待ってください。科目としての英語では I'm good at イコール何々が得意。I'm not good at イコール何々が苦手と習ったのではないでしょうか。これは決して文法的に間違っていないのですが、実はこの覚え方こそが実生活での英語力向上を邪魔しているポイントかもしれません。英語科目としてではなくコミュニケーションのツールとして使えるように今日の動画で一緒に勉強していきましょう。ちなみにですね、ここから先は英語で解説しますが日本語もついています。日本語の字幕もついています。リスニングを鍛えたい、英語を使って友達を増やしたい、仕事したいという方はぜひ今のうちにグッドボタンやチャンネル登録をお願いします。In school, most people have learned I'm good at equals 何々が得意. And technically, this isn't wrong. Depending on the situation, you can translate it as I'm good. 私は英語が得意. I'm good at English. 私はバスケが得意. I'm good at basketball.
すごい掃除上手だね。この教室すっごい綺麗。
そうでもないよ。埃発見アタック。
ちょっと待って、それ消臭スプレーじゃない？
そうだね。But just memorizing 何々が得意 as I'm good at can cause some problems. Let's look at this for example. 私は英語が得意 is I'm good at English. But what about 私は朝より英語が得意？その場合はどうでしょうか？ How would you say this in English? Well, if you just take the 何々が得意 equals I'm good at thinking, then it would be I'm good at English than Arthur.But that is not what native speakers actually say. It sounds strange. But the actual way to say it is this. I'm better at English than Arthur. I'm better at English than Arthur. Depending on the situation, the actual words you use are different. Now, I know for some this feels 当たり前. But for many people who learn English, and for me when I first started learning Japanese, this is what I did. I had the same problem.When I first started learning Japanese, my dad and my sister were coming back from a trip abroad, and I wanted to write a welcome sign for them in Japanese to show my progress. I wanted to write, "Welcome home, Alex and Dad." But how do you write welcome home? Well, in the dictionary, welcome was yokoso, and home was ie. But the word order in Japanese is opposite, so it should be more like home welcome, right?And well, in Japanese, you add masu to the end of verbs. So in the end, I wrote, 家をようこそます。やっぱりおかしいよね。All I had to do was write おかえり or おかえりなさい. But I was so trapped in the A equals B mindset that I said the completely wrong thing. In traditional English education, especially in Japan, it's almost like a test.正解がたった一つ。There's only one correct answer. You can't write anything else. その影響でこういう固定概念になりがちですね。We start to think that there's one way to say everything. But that's missing the purpose of English. The purpose of English isn't to speak correctly or to give the correct answer. 英語の本来の目的は頭の中のイメージ、気持ち、情報、いわばメッセージを相手に伝えることです。The other person isn't thinking, その言い方は僕が持ってるのと違うよ。この答え方が合ってないよ。They just care about communication. They care about receiving your messages and sharing their messages with you. And that's what English is all about. If we really want to be able to speak English in the real world, and that's what my channel is about, then A equal to B という固定概念を捨てないといけないんですね。And instead, we need to be more adaptive, be more flexible in our English. But how do you do that? Well, what we need is to work with phrases, to figure out multiple phrases that share the same message. Because in the end, the message is the most important part. So, for example, we can say something like, 私は朝より教えるのが得意です。Now, how would you say this in English? Well, the most basic way is, I am better at teaching than Arthur. I am better at teaching than Arthur. But there are other ways to say it too. Arthur is worse at teaching than me. Arthur is not better at teaching than me. Arthur cannot teach as well as I do. And you can do this with other phrases too. For example, in another phrase, 私は朝より料理が得意です. I'm better at cooking than Arthur can also be Arthur is worse at cooking than me. Arthur is no better at cooking than me. I'm not worse at cooking than Arthur. In the beginning, this kind of exercise will be tough because you're not used to it. You haven't built that muscle memory. But if you stick with this, your English will become flexible. English is like a bike, we just have to do it. And even if you don't know the exact words, you'll be able to explain what you want to say in a natural way as you practice this. And as a free gift for the members of my 世界とつながる movement online salon, I'm going to give you a worksheet for you to start to practice this. There will be lots of phrases for you to practice making these different sentences. In the beginning, it will be tough, but as you practice, you'll get better. So for those of you who are members, please go to the 会員 area and you can get the worksheet. 今回の動画では good at を例に挙げて丸暗記の危険性についてお伝えしました。文法的に間違ってはないからこそ他の形で活用できることに気づかない、しようとしないとなってしまって危険なんですね。そして何より英語学習の最大の壁はフレーズや文法をたくさん学んでも実際に外国人と対面すると頭が真っ白になって言葉が出てこないという問題になることです。僕自身も日本に来る前に日本語を4年間勉強したのですが、日本に来たら全く喋れないという辛い経験をしたことがありました。では具体的にどうしたらパニックにならずに英語が実際に話せるようになるのでしょうか。今回の動画でシェアすると長くなりますので、具体的な学習法を無料ガイドにまとめてみました。で僕だけではなく多くの方が世界を広げた無料ガイドです。To get the guide, you can click the link in the description box below. As always, enjoy your English adventures. 一緒に世界とつながりましょう! See you next time!